Good afternoon, families. As we work our way through our current math unit on place value, I wanted to take a minute to reach out and let you know about one skill that your child's going to be evaluated on the next report card, just kind of what our expectation is of them and where they need to be ready for second grade. The skill is called composing and decomposing numbers up to 120 in more than one way, as so many hundreds, so many tens, and so many ones. In first grade, we don't go past the number 120, but we're there now, even though we have a few months left of school, and so we're working with numbers up to 120 with base 10 blocks. So let me show you what that looks like. Let's say that I asked a child to show me, we'll start with something basic, like the number 32, for example. What your child needs to be able to do is to take 3 10 rods and be able to say, okay, there I have 10, 20, 30, and then 31, 32. That's great. And that's one way to compose that number 32. But remember, our skill says that they need to be able to compose and decompose numbers in more than one way. So I might ask a student, can you show me another way to make 32? And here's what I would expect them to be able to do. I would expect them to be able to trade a 10 rod for 10 units. And to be able to say, oh, okay, well, I can swap out that 10 rod and put 10 more units in the ones place, and then I have 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I still have 32. It just looks a little bit different because I decomposed one of these 10 rods into unit cubes. That's what that looks like with 2-digit numbers. With 3-digit numbers, it's a little bit trickier, but not so much. What we're working on this week is being able to trade 100 flat for 10 10 rods. Okay, so let's say that we had a number like 112, for example. I would want the students to be able to say, okay, I have 100 flat, almost like following a recipe. 100 flat, 1 10 rod, and 2 unit cubes. And this is just kind of the regular way that we would represent this number with base 10 blocks. But if I said, can you show me another way to do that? Well, one way would be to trade out this 10 rod for all those extra unit cubes. But what we also want them to be able to do is to say, hey, here I have 100, and I know that if I have 10 groups of 10, that's the same as 100. So I'm going to trade out this 100 flat for 10 groups of 10. And now I've decomposed that 112 into, I don't have any hundreds now, but I have 11 tens and 2 ones. So this is the skill that your child needs to be able to do to be ready for second grade. In order to score a 4 on the report card, which is that highest level that's kind of beyond grade level, we would need them to be able to tell us the value of each of those places. So if I asked a student, well, what's the value of the tens? They would need to be able to say 110. Or what's the value of the ones place? They would be able to say 2. So you may be thinking, how can I help my child at home? We don't have any base 10 blocks. Well, the good news is that through ClassLink, your child has access to digital or virtual versions of these base 10 block manipulatives. I'm going to show you that right now. So this is Brainingcamp. In ClassLink, the icon looks like this. It looks like a little hand with one finger raised. And then when they open up Brainingcamp, there are a lot of manipulatives that they can choose from. We're using the base 10 blocks, and if we had a number like 112, we can just show that with our base 10 blocks. 100 flat, 10 rod, and 2 unit cubes. And the neat thing about the base 10 blocks in Brainingcamp is that you can click on them and click break, and it decomposes them for you. And they can just select them and move them over. The hundreds flat works the same way. I can click on it and break it into 10 rods. So here I have the value of the 10s is 100 and the value of the 1s is 12. And then I can select those and regroup them to create a 100 flat and a 10 rod all over again. The kids love working with the base 10 blocks in Brainingcamp, and so if you'll give them an opportunity to do that at home, that'll help them work on this very important skill to prepare them for second grade. You can just give them some 3-digit numbers up to 120 and have them compose and decompose those numbers in more than one way. So I hope that this was helpful and gives you a little bit of insight into what's expected of your child as we work our way through place value. Thanks a lot.